Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And in today's video, we are going to discuss paper 2 progression test 2026. The first question here says to you that here is a sequence. Find the next term in the sequence. If you noticed over here, we are adding every time 1 over 5, add 1 over 5, add 1 over 5. So it is going to become 1 and 1 over 5. And they are requesting from you to find the nth term. So to find the nth term, we need to see it's linear. Every time I'm adding 1 over 5, so it is 1 over 5 n. 1 over 5 n. And term 0, I need to go and check what is term 0. Term 0, if you go backwards, you're going to find that here is a 0. So it is 1/5 of n plus 0, which is just 1 over 5n. Or you can write it actually this way, n over 5. Here, we need to use the rule that says that the sum of all exterior angles. So all sum of exterior equals 360. So I have this exterior. I got here 1, it is 50, plus this exterior is 71, plus this exterior, because I have here actually how many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exterior angles. So 5 exterior angles, I need to add them all up, and they should give me 360 degrees. So 50 plus 71 plus this is 100 degrees plus this is 90 degrees. All of them, I'm going to minus them from 360. So you're going to find at the end of this is 360 minus 150, and 90 is going to give you exactly 240. So it's going to give you 311, which is going to be 49 degrees exactly. So the brackets, adding all the exterior angles, is going to give you 311. 360 minus 311 is going to give you 49 degrees. Next question here says, 4 to the power of negative 3 is equal to 1 over 4 to the power of n. So n is what? N is 3. And here, 10 divided by what is 2? By 5. In question 5 over here, they're saying to you, the bearing of town A from town B is negative 100 degrees. Explain how you know that Carlos is not correct. Definitely not correct, because bearing can never be negative. And if you want to find the bearing of A from B, then I go clockwise from B. You're going to find that it is 260 degrees. So 360 minus 100, or you can say bearing is 260 degrees. A straight line has the equation y minus x equals 4. Find the gradient and the y-intercept. To find the gradient and the y-intercept, you must make y the subject. So y equals 4 plus x. The gradient is the coefficient of x always, so it is 1. And the y-intercept is the constant, the number that has no variable, which is 4. Here, yes, there is a mistake. Why is it incomplete? Because she should have drawn arcs at the bottom. At the bottom too. Next one, the saying that you reduces 10%. So if it reduces 10%, it means what? 0.9. This is the multiplier. The multiplier is 0.9 because it reduces 10%, which means 90%. It becomes 90%, but as a decimal is 0.9. Good. So it is 9,000 times 0.9. Oh, mister, they said after 3 years. So it was 9,000 times 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9, which is 9,000 times 0.9 to the power of 3. Making here x the subject of the formula, first I need to switch. So it becomes a 3x plus 2 over 7 equals y. So 3x plus 2 equals a 7y. So making x the subject, I need to send the last thing that happened to x. The last thing that happened to x here is divided by 7. Send it there, multiplication. Then the last thing that happened here to x is plus 2. Send it there, subtraction. So 3x equals a 7y. minus 2. And here send the 3 division. So x equals 7y minus 2 over 3. Here, the distance time graph shows the journey of a train between point A, point B, and point C. They want you to find the speed. We agreed in the speed time graph, we have the speed is actually what the time distance graph, the speed is the gradient. The speed is the gradient. So you're going to find over here, they wanted how many meters per second. So find the two stable points. Here you go. Could be this, could be that, or could be the other one over here. Whatever, it doesn't actually matter. But here I know that the distance, speed equals distance over time, right? So the distance here is 2,500 over the time that is taken, which is 100 seconds. So I must say it is actually 25 per second, 25 meters per second, or rise over run. Going up from one stable point to another stable point, rise over run, 2,500 divided by 100 is going to give you 25 meters per second. They want you to find the area of the largest face. If you notice here, the largest face is obviously this parallelogram, or actually it's not a parallelogram, it's a rectangle. So I need 4 multiplied by this. Well, I said it's not parallelogram, it's a rectangle. Actually, both are going to be the same here in this case. So it is 4 multiplied by this side. All right, I know the length, the width is 4, but how can I know this? Well, if you notice that this is the hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle. So C equals a squared plus b squared rooted. So C equals a squared is 36 plus b squared is 64, which is root of 100. C is actually 10. So I know that this side is 10. So 10 times 4 is what? 10 times 4 is 40 centimeters squared. Question 12. Draw a ring around each of the 3 vertices of triangle B after reflection in the line y equals x. So reflection that happened over here is y equals x. Y equals x means it's diagonal. Diagonal mirror line. So what happens here is that it switches the x with the y. So if you wanted the reflection, if the point before reflection was 0, 0, I'm going to switch the x and the y. So Mr. it will remain 0, 0 actually. Yes, so 0, 0 is one of them. 6, 6 after switching, well, it stays also 6, 6. 3, 2 after switching, it becomes 2, 3. So 2, 3. This happens only in the reflection in the line y equals x and x equals y. Only you switch the x's, the x-axis with the x coordinate with the y coordinate. Here you're going to find that all of them are called actually quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. All these 4 shapes. This parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Squares quadrilateral. Rectangles are quadrilateral. So the very big circle, actually, which includes the other 3, is the quadrilateral. And here we got a parallelogram. After that, we got over here what? You're going to find here that over here we got a rectangle. Because all rectangles are actually parallelograms and are actually quadrilaterals. But the rectangles, not all rectangles are squares, because a square has what? 2 pairs, or actually all the sides are equal, right? But any square can be called, yes, a rectangle, or is a rectangle, yes. Any square is a rectangle, any rectangle is a parallelogram, any parallelogram is a quadrilateral. Yes, this is true. For each shape in the table, to show if it is always, sometimes, or never a parallelogram. A rhombus, well, a rhombus looks like the parallelogram exactly, but the 4 sides are equal, and opposite angles are also equal. Look at this. Opposite angles are also equal. So yes, it is always a parallelogram. A trapezium. Well, it here depends on the definition of trapezium, and the definition of trapezium in Cambridge, the definition of trapezium is a shape that has at least one pair of parallel. This is what Cambridge says. Parallel. So there are two definitions for a trapezium. One definition of a trapezium is that a trapezium is a shape that has only one pair of parallel sides. One pair of parallel sides. But actually, this is not the definition that Cambridge says. Cambridge says that the definition of trapezium is a shape with at least one pair of parallel sides. So it could be, sometimes it is actually a parallelogram. Samira asks 31 children how long their journey to school took that day. Here are her results. They saying that you draw a ring around the model class interval. So the class interval that is most repeated, you're going to find out that it is 40, 50 has got repeated the most. So it is here. But the class that contains the median, well, the median, to find the position of the median, I do the data, all the total frequency, which is 31, they said, plus 1 over 2. This is going to give you 32 divided by 2, which is 16. So the median is the 16th. Mister, do I always do this? Yes. Total frequency plus 1 divided by 2 will give you the position of the median. It is the 16th number. How can I find it? Let's add this. 3 plus 5 equals what? First, check the first frequency here of the first class interval. It is 3. Have you reached or passed the 16? No, I haven't. So go to the next one. 3 plus 5 equals 8. Have you reached or passed the 16th? No. Then let's continue. 8 plus 8 is 16. Have you reached or passed the 16? Yes, I have reached it. So it is this one. The median lies here. Here is saying that you calculate an estimate of the mean. The midpoint is the midpoint of the class interval, which is here 15. And the midpoint here is 25. The midpoint here is 35. And here is 45. Midpoint times frequency. I need to multiply midpoint by frequency is 45. And here is going to be 125. Here is going to give you 280. And this one here is going to give you, it's paper 2. So let's use the calculator. Doing the 45 times 15 equals 675. Mean, the estimation of the mean with grouped data, it is the total of this. Total divided by the total of frequency. So total of midpoint times frequency divided by total of frequency. Let's use the calculator to find them. Here you're going to find that it is 45 plus 125 plus 280 plus 675 equals 1,125. And here you're going to find that it is 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 15 equals 31. So it is 1125 divided by 31, which is equal to 36.29, which is 36.3. This is the estimation of the mean. A cylinder has a base diameter of 6 centimeters and a height of 14 centimeters. Find the curved surface area. Let's imagine this cylinder. Well, it's inaccurate. It doesn't actually matter. Well, so here is the cylinder. They're saying to you that the height is 14. And they want the area, the surface area of the curved surface area. So they want this, the curved rectangle. So we know that it is length times width. But how can we find this? We had a rule for the area of the curved face. Area of curved base equals circumference times height. This is the area of the curved face. What is the circumference? Circumference is pi d times height. So on my calculator, I'm going to do pi, multiply that by the diameter, multiplied by the diameter, which is 6, multiplied by the height, which is 14. This is going to give you the area of the curved face. So I'm going to do this on my calculator, shift to find pi, multiplied by 6, multiplied by 14 equals has to be 263.9. They said to you round? No, they didn't say to you round, but I'm going to have to round my answer. You can round it to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places. Never round it to the nearest whole number, please, if you have a non-terminating decimal. So 263.9. The distance, d kilometers, between two towns is this. Correct it to 1 decimal place. To 1 decimal place, okay, they want you to complete the inequality. So finding the upper bound. The upper bound, you're going to find that I add 0.05, which is 16.05. Done. But for the lower bound, you need to minus 0.05. So mining it from this 0.05 is going to give you exactly 15.95. They're requesting for me to find whether it is correct that he's saying here, take to show if Oliver is correct or not correct. He's saying that the 131 is a term in the sequence. So in order to find this, I need to first to find the nth term. I added here a 4, added here a 4, added here a 4. So it is 4n plus term 0. Term 0 is what? Minus a 4. It's going to take it to 1. So it is plus 1. Say they are requesting for me to find if 131 is a term of the sequence or not. So I'm going to write equals 131. So 4n equals 130. So n equals, you're going to find that it has a decimal in it. Once you do 130, divided by 4 equals 32.5. Since it is a decimal, so not correct. Give a reason for your answer. It is, so you can say 131 is between 32nd term and 33rd term. It is not actually a term in the sequence. N equals, and you must show this working. Once they see also this working, they're going to give you the mark for it. Here, drawing around each of the two expressions that are equivalent, you're going to find that this and this are equivalent. How do you know it? If you expand this, 2p times 3 is going to give you 6p minus 2p times q, negative q, you're going to find that it is negative 2pq, which is actually the same as the fourth expression. The saying to you here, it takes 4 people, or it takes them 30 minutes to restock the shelves in a shop. Find how many people would be needed to restock the shelves in 20 minutes. So we want 20 minutes. What is this going to be? First, I need to know what happened to the 30 to become 20. How can I do that? What happened to the 30 to become 20? Mister, I multiplied it by actually something. How can I know it? You're going to know it by doing the bottom number divided by the top. So 20 divided by 30. So 20 over 30. Or actually, it's 2 over 3. So you multiply by 2 over 3, then here, divide by 2 over 3. Why? Because I noticed that this is an inverse proportion. If you noticed here, if the number of people increases, then definitely the time we need decreases. So if you multiply here by 2 over 3, go over there and divide by 2 over 3. Dividing by 2 over 3 is going to give you exactly 6 people using your calculator. Another person would do it in a different way. They might say to me, Mister, I divide by 1.5. I found that this 30 divided by 20 is going to give me actually, Mister, 1.5. So I multiplied over there by 1.5. The same thing exactly. So you can notice that this is division by 1.5. So here, multiplication by 1.5. It's going to give you also 6 people. Draw a ring around each of the rational numbers in the list. Any fraction is rational. Any whole number is rational. This is a third. I'm not going to take it. Any integer we said is rational. And also, this is not a third, but pi is always irrational. This is not a third. This is equal to 10. So it is an integer. It is also rational. Question 21. The diagram shows a shape made from a rectangle and 2 semicircles. They want you to work out the parameter of the shape. Well, if you consider this semicircle, which has both of them have the same radius, so actually I'm going to consider them as one circle. I need to find the parameter, which means that you need to find the circumference of the 2 semicircles, circumference of the one full circle, or parameter of this curve arc and parameter of the other arc. Anyway, I'm going to consider them both as one circle and find the length of the 2 arcs, which is pi d. So circumference equals pi d, pi times diameter. Plus, I have this one over here, which is 15. Plus, I have this one over here also, which is 15. They wanted the parameter of the whole shape. So to find the 2 arcs, we agreed pi d. What is pi d? It is pi times diameter. What is diameter? Diameter is double the radius. Don't forget that here you have a radius, you don't have a diameter. So double it, it is going to give you exactly 6.5. Plus 15 and 15 is 30. Go to the calculator and do this. It is pi multiplied by 6.5 multiplied by, or at plus actually 30 equals 50.4. They didn't say round to a specific degree of accuracy, so I'm going to choose one decimal place, 50.4. Never choose to the nearest whole number. A right-angled triangle has a base. Here's the right-angled triangle. They're saying it to you, it has a base 4y and a height 5. No, they didn't say 5. They said a height 5 centimeters more than the base. So it is 4y plus 5. Find an expression in terms of y for the area of the triangle. A equals base times height over 2. So A equals 4y multiplied by 4y plus 5. This is the base, this is the height, divided by 2. So A equals 16y squared plus 20y over 2. You can actually simplify, divided the 16 by 2 and the 20 by 2, then it's going to give you A equals what? 8y squared plus 10y centimeters squared. And this is the area. Well, the last question, I already answered it a few minutes ago, or before the session, before the video. Anyway, I'm going to use this. The saying to you here that 3 children share some money in the ratio 2 to 5 to 8. So let's consider this 2x, 5x, 8x. One child receives 1.80 more than one of the other 2 children. So let me just separate this. So the saying the difference between 2 of them is actually 1.80. So let's check here the difference between the first and the second. The first and the second child, the difference is 3x. And the second and the third is also 3x. So this is not going to matter. Actually, I'm going to take only one of them. So the saying the difference between one child and the other, which is 3x, is 1.80. Is 1.80. So the difference between 2x and 5x, which is 3x, is 1.80. Or necessarily could be the difference between the first child and the last child. Here you go, 2x and 8x. The difference between them is 6x. It could be the saying to you, the difference could be 1.80. So 6x, the difference between the first and the last, is 1.80. 6x is equal to 1.80. I need to see what x is equal to actually in the first case. If it happens, you're going to find it divided by 3. 1.80 divided by 3 is 0.6. So x could be 0.6, or dividing it by 6. So 1.80 divided by 6 is 0.3. X could be 0.3. But finding the total. If x is 0.6, so it is 2 times 0.6, which is 1.2, 5 times 0.6, which is 3, 8 times 0.6, which is 4.8. Adding them up, x could, then the total could be 9. Or if I say to you here, x is 0.3, this is the other case. If x is 0.3, then 2 times 0.3 is 0.6. 5 times 0.3 is 1.5. 8 times 0.3 is 2.4. Then the total could be 4.5. This is the other solution. Here, let me erase this, answer it with you. This saying to you that Eva thinks of a number. The number is actually n. The number is n. This saying to you, she doubles the number, so 2n, then adds 12, then divides the answer by 5. Eva knows that her answer is the same as the number, so equals n. Let's solve for n now. I'm going to send to the 5 over there multiplication. So 2n plus 12 equals 5n. I'm going to send to the small n to the other one. So 12 equals 5n minus 2n, 3n. So I know that n is 4. Write an equation and solve it to show there is only one number that Eva could have been thinking of. We wrote the equation, we solved it. The last question over here, question 25. The diagram shows a rectangular garden with a circular pond. The saying to you that the shaded area of the garden is 95.1. So the big rectangle, the area of the big rectangle, area of rectangle minus area of pond equals 95.1. What is the area of the big rectangle? I need to do 8.5 times 12.3, which is equal to what? 104.55 minus area of the pond is what? I don't know it, mister. I don't know. I know that area of the pond is actually pi r squared equals 95.1. So negative pi r squared, negative, don't forget the negative, negative pi r squared equals, let's send the 104.55 to the other side, subtraction. So it's going to be equal to 95.1 minus 104.55 equals negative 9.45, negative 9.45. Okay, good. I still need to get rid of the negative pi. So r squared equals negative 9.45 over negative pi over negative pi. I sent the negative pi to the other side. And to get r only, I need to get rid of the square and send it to the other side square root. Here you go. Let's go to the calculator and write this calculation. So r equals the square root of fraction. Negative and negative, they're going to cancel each other. So let's just write it positive. So 9.45 over pi equals 1.73. They didn't request, they requested for me to round your answer to 3 significant figures. So it is 1.73. After the 3 is a weak number. So it is 1.73 meters. This is the radius. If you leave it this way, unfortunately, you're going to take only 3 marks. Why? Because radius is 1.73. They requested that diameter, so you need to double it. You need to double it to find the diameter. So diameter equals, let's double it from the calculator, 3.46, rounding it to 3 significant figures, it is going to give you 3.47. So 3.47. 3.47. So the diameter is the whole thing, 9.45 over pi, but it is doubled. So it is going to give you, we said what? 3.47 meters. That's it. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you in another video.